You are 23. Derek leases a black Audi the same month you buy a 2011 Honda Civic for $6,200 cash. Same starting salary, same entry-level cubicle. 10 years from now, one of you will own something. The other will still be paying for permission. The Civic has cloth seats and a crack in the dash you stop noticing by week 2. You drive it to work the first Monday and park 3 rows from the entrance, next to nothing worth looking at. Derek pulls in 20 minutes later. The Audi catches the sun. A guy from the warehouse walks over just to look at it. Nobody walks over to look at your Civic. You tell yourself you don't care. That night you sit at your kitchen table with a calculator and a blank sheet of paper. You write down what you'd have paid monthly for something like Derek's car. Then you write down what the Civic actually costs you. The gap is bigger than you expected. You fold the paper and put it in a drawer. You don't mention it to anyone. Your Uncle Ray stops by that weekend. Ray is 61, retired early, drives a pickup with 190,000 miles on it. He sees the Civic in your driveway and doesn't say anything about it, which surprises you. Over coffee, he finally says it. Most people don't buy cars, they buy cloths. They want the car to answer a question about them before anyone has to ask. You laugh it off. Ray doesn't laugh. Monday morning, gas station, you pump $9 of regular and watch the number climb slower than it does in Derek's car, which drinks premium and drinks it fast. A man in the next lane fills a truck he clearly can't afford. He glances at the Civic, glances at you, says nothing. You are 25. The Civic has 61,000 miles. Derek has already swapped the Audi for a newer one, black again, bigger payment, same smile. At the office holiday party, a coworker named Mia asks what you drive. You tell her. She says, "Oh," in a tone that isn't cruel, just surprised. You go home early that night. You sit in the Civic in the parking garage for a minute before starting the engine. Nothing about the car changed. Something about how you feel sitting in it did. That drawer at home now has 3 folded sheets of paper in it. The number on the newest one has a comma in it for the first time. You don't celebrate. You just close the drawer and go to bed. You are 27. Derek gets promoted to team lead. He tells everyone at lunch the way he tells everyone everything. He mentions the new lease he's eyeing, something German, something with a name that sounds like an apology. You nod along. Your friend Mia rides in the Civic to her sister's engagement party. She holds her dress off the floor mats out of habit. In the venue parking lot, next to a row of SUVs and one convertible, the Civic looks like it wandered in from a different decade. On the drive home, she says quietly, "I just want you to feel like you're doing well." You say you are doing well. She looks out the window. That night, you sit in the dark for 20 minutes with a car buying app open on your phone. Your thumb hovers over a listing for something newer. You close the app instead. You don't sleep well. The next morning, you drive past the dealership on your way to work out of habit, not intention. The lot is full of cars with paper temporary plates still taped in the windshield. At lunch, Derek shows the table a picture of the new lease he's thinking about. Someone asks what your 5-year plan looks like. You say something vague. Derek laughs. You are 29. Ray calls you out of nowhere and asks how the Civic's holding up. You still writing those numbers down? At work, Derek's new lease payment comes up in conversation. Someone jokes that your Civic must be held together with tape. You laugh along. You go back to your desk and open a spreadsheet nobody has ever seen. You are 31. The transmission starts making a sound. You take it to a shop instead of a dealership. The mechanic, Wallace, quotes you $700. Derek, in the same month, totals his lease car on a wet exit ramp. He posts about it, calls it a blessing in disguise, upgrades to something even more expensive 2 weeks later. That weekend, you take the folded papers out of the drawer and lay them all out on the table for the first time. 8 years of numbers, growing slower than you wanted at first, faster than you expected by the end. You mention this, carefully, to Mia. She goes quiet for a second, then asks why you never told her before. She says it doesn't feel like a secret. It feels like a plan she just found out she was already part of. At work, Wallace calls to check in on the transmission fix. Everybody thinks the car's the investment. The car's the receipt. The investment's whatever you didn't spend on it. You are 33. Mia is your wife now. She stopped asking about the car. At a dinner with her coworkers, someone asks what you drive, and she answers for you, easily. The same Civic he's had forever. It's basically a member of the family at this point. Nobody laughs at that the way they would have 10 years ago. Derek isn't at these dinners. You heard he's between jobs, that the lease got returned early, that the car he financed got repossessed quietly on a Tuesday morning. You are 35. The Civic finally dies on a Sunday morning, 214,000 miles. A rod knock the mechanic says isn't worth chasing. You feel almost nothing standing in the parking looking at it. You call Wallace, thank him for 5 extra years he squeezed out of a car that owed you nothing by the end. Then you walk into a dealership. The salesman sizes you up, glances at your jeans, decides you're a certain kind of customer before you've said a word. You ask about a car with a sticker price that makes him do a small double take. You pay for it without financing, without negotiating the payment plan. He asks, what you do for work? You tell him the truth, an ordinary job. He doesn't know what to do with that answer. He tries once more to walk you toward financing. You sign the paperwork in cash and watch his expression shift from arrogant to genuinely curious. Driving the new car home, you pass the old dealership lot where you bought the Civic 12 years ago. Ray comes over that weekend to see the new car. He walks around it slowly, nods once. Took you long enough to buy the car instead of clothes. You are 37. Ray gets sick that spring. You drive up to see him every weekend for 2 months. What he talks about is the truck he drove for 19 years. Nobody remembers the car. They remember whether you needed anybody's permission to live your life. Driving home, you think about the folded papers in the garage, about Wallace's word receipt, about Mia's dress lifted off the floor mats. The truth nobody tells you at 23 in that parking lot is that the two guys walking over to admire someone else's car were never admiring the car. They were admiring the story it was telling. Nobody ever walked over to admire your Civic because your Civic wasn't telling a story to strangers. You still have the folded papers somewhere in a box in the garage. You don't need them anymore. Derek still posts sometimes. New job, new plan, a photo of a car that isn't his yet but will be soon. You don't comment. Years later, you run into Derek at a gas station, both of you pumping regular now, both a little grayer. He asks what you're driving these days. He nods, doesn't ask the follow-up question he clearly wants to ask. You wish him well. You mean it. Driving away, you realize you don't miss it, because it already gave you everything it was ever going to give you, quietly, one folded piece of paper at a time. The car was never the point. It never is. It's just the easiest place people go looking for proof of something they haven't actually built yet.